Alexander Mitrovic has to score for Serbia.
Yes! Oh my God!
The 22-year wait is over. Scotland have finally qualified for a major tournament since France '98. I was 7 years old the last time they qualified, so I've never really seen them perform in a tournament. I'm 29 now. I'm a dad, I'm married. Imagine me like growing up and never ever seeing this. It's the same for most of you probably watching this right now. It's been ridiculously long. And today we've got the squad that is going to be taking us to the Euros and hopefully getting some results. In fact, not hopefully, I believe we're going to finish top of the group and qualify through that. Fingers crossed. But the wait is finally over. That night back in Serbia in November was one of the best moments of lockdown, of absolute oblivion and not caring at all about the hangover, and I'm sure most of you've done the same. The footage was everywhere. It was absolutely incredible to see the support. Whether you're a Celtic fan, Rangers fan, Hibs, Hearts, no matter who you support, we all got behind the country. Even Ali McCoy even said he never cheered as much for a Celtic boy scoring. It's unbelievable that we can all band together in this. But I'm going to be going through my starting 11 that I think should be playing the first game anyway against Czech Republic. This is going to vary depending on the teams we play, so make sure you subscribe because I will be doing a starting 11 for each game that we're going to be qualifying for. And lucky enough for me, I'm getting to go to the Scotland-Wembley game, and I will be trying to do some behind the scenes. Even though it is lockdown in a pandemic, I'm lucky enough to go, so woohoo, that is going to be incredible. I cannot wait for this. It's going to be amazing. So this is who I think should be starting that first game. If you have any other discrepancies about who you think's better or whatever, please leave it in the comments down below and I will take them on board for making my next predictions against the England game, which is going to be incredible. That is against the old enemy. Let's get into the video and let me show you who my starting 11 is for Scotland at the Euros.
Oh mate, unbelievable. Big Marsh, national hero. Lost for words, everybody's buzzing.
David Marshall. Just the shirts and it goes and hits a net. David Marshall. Na 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 na. David Marshall.
This is the squad that Steve Clarke has selected, and as you can see, we've got 3 uncapped players in Rangers, Nathan Patterson, Celtic's David Turnbull, and at Chelsea's Billy Gilmour, who, to be fair to all 3 players, have been absolutely incredible since they've come onto the scene, getting a lot of caps for their selective teams. But there's one thing that's like I've got to admit off the bat here. I am a Celtic fan, and I do think that Nathan Patterson has probably cemented himself as Scotland's right back. This isn't about the old firm anymore. This is about our country, Scotland, doing well in the Euros, and as you can see, he is one of my selection, but we'll get more into that in a second. A lot of people were sort of wondering why Lee Griffiths wasn't selected when I was watching the Sky Sports News live feed, but to be honest, I don't think he's going to be starting ahead of Che Adams, who's been unbelievable for Southampton. Lyndon Dykes is far better player in the way we play, especially in Steve Clarke's method about going long and bringing it down. Lyndon Dykes has that in his locker, so I can understand why Lee Griffiths isn't selected, although he is obviously a free kick specialist, but we do have that in our rankings as well, especially my starting 11 anyway. So this is what we've got to work with. There's a lot of players here who really deserve it. They've been unbelievable. Scott McTominay's been brilliant. He's about to finish second in the league with Man United. You've got Chelsea's Billy Gilmour, who's got 5 caps or something over the past couple of weeks, and he's been playing really well. Tierney, who's probably been Arsenal's best player this season. I know you can make an argument for Saka, but Tierney, he's got the captain's mentality. He's honestly going to be Arsenal's captain in the upcoming years if he doesn't get sold. Andy Robertson, who we know has not had the best season in terms of what Liverpool have done, but he's still unbelievable when he's on the ball. He's still got that mentality of going forward and pushing a team forward, is what we need. We need to go in there and not just be settling for the fact of, oh, we've not played for years, we're here now, let's leave it done. No, we want to be staying in these tournaments. We want to be continuing this over and over, and I think with the youth that we've got, finally we actually might have a chance of doing that. Maybe even still qualify for Qatar, because we're in an okay group and we're sitting second. We've got obviously tough group with Austria and Denmark, but we've had worse in the past. This one is definitely possible for us still to go in with. So we're going to be heading over now to do my starting 11. If you have any comments or any issues with my selection, please leave them in the comments down below. I do actually have opinions coming back and forth. I want to see what other people think, who's going to be the best starting, and try and leave bias at the window for the team you support. This is all about Scotland and who the actual best team is going to be. We're all in the same boat here trying to get this team to win the Euros, so let's look at it. This is the formation I'm going with, and it's a 5-2-1-2, because if you look at who's in our squad, yes, we beat Czech Republic twice over the last year, but Croatia were also a World Cup finalist. England have really got a lot of pace coming down them wings with Phil Foden, Sancho, Saka. Like, they've got pace behind them, and they've got Jack Grealish as well, who is going to cause problems, but we really need to be thinking here what's going to be the best team to win this, and this is the formation I think we've got, especially in the first game against Czech Republic. Get some points in the board and maybe bring it out differently in the second half if we're behind, or if we're winning, maybe stick to the same strategy. But this is what we're going with here. I think we're just going to go straight into it. I'm going to tell you my starting 11. And for a goalkeeper, no one else deserves the spot apart from David Marshall. I don't care if you think he's crap because he's playing in Championship. The guy just deserves it, because if he didn't save that penalty, we wouldn't even be here. So immediately I'm going to be going for David Marshall. And for left wing back, we're going to be going for Andy Robertson. Captain, he's going to be starting every game. He's got the pace and the absolute engine for running up and down that wing. He's been brilliant for Liverpool over the past couple of years. Maybe not recently, but he's still an incredible player. He deserves our position. I don't think the only other argument you can make is Tierney for left back, but I think Tierney also supporting him as left centre back can fall back into that position, and the two of them can do their overlapping runs, is why I'm going to be putting them both beside each other. It's a really, really difficult one because they're both world-class left-backs, and that's typical Scotland. We have one position with two world-class players, but the rest of them sort of low to the wayside. But that's who we're going to be going with for left centre-back. We're going to be going for Tierney. And for a centre-back, we're going to be going for Declan Gallagher. He was an absolute rock against Serbia, and he was unbelievable as well against Israel. I think he really, really deserves a spot. If he was a bit younger playing this good, I could easily see him going to the Premier League, but he's been fantastic and fully deserves a spot on this squad. Our next selection is going to be Liam Cooper for Leeds. He's been unbelievable this season. They've just got promoted and they're sitting at mid-table of the Premier League, and a very, very funny season for what's going on. He really deserves this spot. He's been brilliant for fantasy football, so he's got a good few goals and maybe a couple of assists in him if he comes up. I really think he's going to be one of the best selections we've got at centre back. And between the three of them, especially the fact that Liam Cooper and Tierney can literally overlap all the time, they've got quite a lot of pace in behind it, so I'm quite confident this is going to be a really good trio at the back. At right back, we're going to be going for Nathan Patterson, who's been incredible this season for Rangers. He's burst onto the scene, such a young boy. He's got a lot to offer and a lot to learn, but he's really got control of his game. He's got a lot of pace behind him, and he's got a good engine. It's a bit of a shame for Stephen O'Donnell, who has been very loyal to Scotland, but he's still in the squad, so there might be some rotation with the quick games in succession. But I think Nathan Patterson's got the engine to keep going. He's got a good drive, and as I was mentioning with the left and the overlapping runs with Tierney and Robertson, I think the same is going to be happening with Cooper and Nathan. Now, our two midfielders was a bit tricky because I know a lot of people like to see Ryan Christie play a bit further up the pitch, but I think he's going to do a little bit more of a supporting role in this Euros, only because of the player that you can see in this number 7 role has been absolutely amazing. I think Ryan Christie's definitely cemented himself. He got the goal against Serbia. He didn't turn up as much for Celtic this season, but him and his own was been absolutely incredible for Scotland. He's got a drive and a boost. He was absolutely gone, man of the match worthy of the game against Serbia. He absolutely deserves a spot on the squad. Even if you hate him, he's been unbelievable for Scotland. You can't take that away from him. He's a penalty specialist as well whenever we get into them situations, if we end up getting any, especially with VAR now being in it as well. It's going to be very interesting to see. That's why Ryan Christie, I think, is going to be one of the best positions that we can give him. It's going to be in the centre mid. And alongside him, we're going to be going for Scott McTominay. He's been unbelievable again. I keep praising all these players because, to be honest, they have been amazing in my eyes. They've done a lot. I might be biased because I'm Scottish, but I really love seeing how well they can play together. If I see a Scotland person on any fantasy football team, I'm always supporting them. If it's even a team I don't support and there's a Scottish guy playing for that team, I will be supporting that team just because I love to see them do well. And that's the way it should be. We should always be supporting our own countrymen. And I think Scott McTominay has definitely got that about him as well. He plays for Scotland no matter where he came from on the planet, but he's got this form. He's got something about him. He's got a lot of drive and he's got a lot of heart. And as well, he doesn't have to play centre back as much as he can drop in and out there. I think he's going to be a lot more effective in the midfield, especially bossing the Czech Republic games. And I think he can actually get a good tackle in, and Jack Grealish as well, which would be lovely to see. But we'll see how many yards that guy goes flying when he starts diving about if he does it in the Euros. Now for the next position, I've got John McGinn. Now a lot of you people who might be Villa fans might be thinking that's a bit weird, he plays centre mid for us, he doesn't go forward. But I actually think he's better as the forward role. A lot of people in the commentators, whenever you watch Scotland games, they're all about him going forward because he's got that about him. He's got the creativity, he's got the flair, he's got unbelievable passing, and the fact he scored a bicycle kick for Scotland, which is something I've never seen before, just deserves that spot right away. I think he's going to be one of our main men at the Euros. He's got something clever about him that's got a really good football head about what to do, when to hold back, when to make the right challenge, when to make overlapping runs, when to mark a man. He's got a lot with him, and I think this is going to be one of the most important positions that we have. That's why I have him in the centre attacking mid role. Now for our first striker, I'm going to be picking Lyndon Dykes. Now I don't know much about Lyndon Dykes in terms of where he performs in the Championship, but he's got something good about him in the fact that he's very good at headers and he can bring the ball down. He might have a clumsy challenge here or there in him and maybe not making the right run at the right time, but I think he's got something good that Scotland have lacking. Yeah, we had Stephen Fletcher a few years back, but he didn't have the pace that Lyndon did. That's why I think he's going to be a very good striker up top there, especially with McGinn being able to do the overlap and run, and with our next striker here who's been the next decision, we'll get onto him in just a second. I think it's going to be one of the better positions that we have for Lyndon Dykes because they can overlap each other and they can also push out wide just because of their pace. So we're going to be picking Lyndon Dykes here. So for the last striker, I'm going to be picking Che Adams, who has been a goal scoring machine for Southampton. He's really kept them in amongst it, and they were doing very well, I think, just before Christmas as well. So he's one of my main choices here. I think he's got a lot about him to go forward and get things going, which is what Scotland need. They need a good goal scorer. So that's going to be my starting 11 for the Euros. I would love to hear what you guys see down below. I will be doing a starting 11 for each game. I think this is the best one we have against Czech Republic. Of course, when a player plays in the first game, they might automatically get into the second game. That's not how it works. There's going to be a lot of squad rotation due to the amount of games coming in quick and fast. So if you have any other ideas about what you want to do with your team, please leave them in the comments down below. I will be doing a vlog as well of the Scotland Wembley game, which is going to be amazing. We've been waiting all my life to see Scotland play in a tournament, and we get to do it against the old enemy. That's all it for today's video, guys. If you are new here, please make sure again to subscribe. I will see you later on. Goodbye.